I'm very happy to be here. I don't know if that comes across in my body language, or in my tone of voice, or my facial expression, but I am. I'm very happy to be here. If you want me to put into words just how happy I am, I'd say that I'm about as happy as a man who had a static caravan and couldn't go anywhere because it was a static caravan. But then he put wheels on it. And now he can move around. I'm ecstatic. I had a strange day today. I saw this lorry backing up, and now normally when lorries back up, they make a sort of beeping noise, so you know to get out of the way. But this lorry wasn't making the usual beep. The usual beep is that standard beep, 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 beep. But this lorry was going beep, 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 beep. 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 Vehicle rehearsing. Turned out that lorry was auditioning later on for a part in a musical. Specifically, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, playing the part of Joseph's lorry. Now, that was just a true thing that happened, but as it's a comedy night, I wanted to do a joke. So I've written this joke, right? This joke's like in the form of a question and then a funny answer, right? But when I ask the question, I don't want you to shout out your own funny answer. I've got my funny answer prepared. So what'll happen is I'll ask the question, then we'll pause for a second, then I'll tell you the funny answer. Then you can laugh. Or you can just sort of sit there in silence and stare. I just feel really embarrassed. The rest of my set will be really awkward. So, no pressure. Anyway, here's my joke. What has 4 legs, a beard, and a tail? Richard Branson holding half a dead cat. And he's holding the half a dead cat, and Richard's going, "Oh God! How did this happen? I've got all this money, but what good is it if I can't bring this cat back to life?" That was my joke, Birmingham. I've got another one later on. It's almost as good. I went round to visit my nana the other day, and while I was there, my nana offered me a Jaffa cake, as nanas are prone to do. And I accepted that Jaffa cake using the standard Jaffa cake acceptance etiquette, which most of us know. Just in case you don't, what that is you say, "Yes, please," and then you have a boring conversation for about 10 minutes about whether a Jaffa cake is a cake or a biscuit. We all do this. Your nana says, "Do you want a Jaffa cake? Although I don't know what they call them cakes for. They're more like biscuits." And you go, "Yes, Nana. They are sort of more like biscuits, aren't they? Because they're small like biscuits, and you kind of think of them as being biscuits. And maybe they should call them Jaffa biscuits. Although, having said that, they haven't got a very biscuity texture, have they, Nana? They've got a sort of spongy, almost cake-like texture, Nana. Maybe that's why they call them Jaffa cakes. Maybe the name Jaffa cake does make sense if you think about it for 30 seconds. I mean, I know you talk about the size, but they're the size of a biscuit, therefore they're a biscuit. But that isn't the defining factor in whether something's a biscuit or not, Nana. Because if you had, like, a custard cream the size of a cake, then it wouldn't stop being a biscuit, Nana, would it? If you had, like, a Victoria sponge cake the size of a biscuit, that wouldn't be a biscuit, Nana, would it? That would just be a small biscuit-sized cake. You can accept that, like how you can accept Mr. Kipling cakes, small biscuit-sized cakes. But this Jaffa cake thing, Nana, that you keep going on about, what you mean. You talk about it as if it's a subject for debate, as if it's a matter of opinion, whether something's a cake or a biscuit. But it isn't, because there's a legal distinction between cakes and biscuits. Because value-added tax is to be paid on biscuits but not on cakes. This affects the price of the Jaffa cake, Nana. McVitie's went to court over this and they argued in court successfully that a Jaffa cake is not a biscuit, it is a cake. And this was on an episode of QI, Nana. And I've told you this. We've been through this before. I know it's not the most quintessential of cakes. It's not the first thing you think of when you hear the word cake. But Nana, we live in a world that contains fish cakes and urinal cakes. This obsession you have with what they call Jaffa cakes, I don't know what you mean. And at this point, your Nana says, all right, maybe I do talk about Jaffa cakes too often. Maybe our conversations are nonsensical and repetitive. But do you ever wonder why that is? Let me tell you this, grandson of mine. We are two people of different genders and different generations, with very few things in common, very few shared frames of reference, and I find you personally dull, awkward, and difficult to talk to. Now, do you want this frickin' Jaffa cake?